Welcome to the Pirate Broadcast, where we interview interesting people doing interesting things, where you can expand your connections, your community. Kindness is cool and smiles are free. And let's get this party started. And it's a beautiful connections. It's a beautiful day. Kindness is cool and smiles are free. And let's get this party started. What's that? That must be your. And it's a beautiful connections. You got an extra day. Terence, you got a tab open. Let's get this party started.
I don't know what's happening over here.
Do you have an extra tab open? You have LinkedIn open?
I'm checking.
All right.
Let's get this party started. I don't know what's happening over here.
Do you have an extra tab open? Do you have LinkedIn open?
I'm checking.
All right.
I'll shut every tab down right now.
Yeah, just except the one you're on.
I'm checking.
Is that better?
I'll shut every tab down right now. I'm checking. Can you hear me now?
Can you hear me now?
Is this okay?
Yeah.
I can hear you. All right. That made for some excitement and fun to hear myself echoed over. Over.
Well, we were so excited to get the party started that we never negotiated that process with us. So thank you so much for being here, Terence. How are you doing today?
Oh, I'm great. I live in New York City, the concrete jungle. I walked to an office so you could hear me out of the chaos of the house. And the energy of the city it's just alive. It's coming back. So
awesome.
I'm truly blessed. Every day, I wake up, get to kiss my wife, good morning, our son, and walk to work with our dog. She comes to work every day with me. So it's a beautiful thing. And I know each day, I don't know what the day holds, but I know I get to create some really cool opportunities, for people that I'm working with at the camp, or myself, and it's really, or our family. So it's really exciting.
So let's dive into that. For those that don't know you and haven't met you yet or haven't connected yet, please, everyone in the pirate community, make sure that you introduce yourself and welcome Terence to the pirate community, and also give us a backstory on some of what you're doing. An amazing project, and I just want to highlight it and make sure everybody understands and appreciates what you're doing, because this is a phenomenal effort here, and I want to make sure that people understand what Steve's Camp is and what is taking place in Steve's Camp, because it's so. I was reading it and I was just taken back and thinking, wow, this is phenomenal. We got to share it out.
Thank you. A little bit about me. I myself, like you, have had many jobs and ultimately landed in something that just completely felt fulfilling, and that's the nonprofit space, service before self, really helping other individuals. You elevate the world, through your actions. You really want to elevate the world from mediocrity, to greatness, and we do that at a camp. We do that. I could give you the technical mission, which is, we empower underserved youth pretty much from the age of 11 to 18 to become tomorrow's leaders through healthy hearts, healthy mind, and healthy body by using the camp experience. And that's the summer camp experience. So they get to, these underserved children from the 5 boroughs of Manhattan get to go to a sleepaway camp up in the Catskills for 2 weeks. And in that camp, there's a ropes course, so they get to literally reach new heights and are harnessed in. We do trust falls. They go on a lake. Some of them have never left the city, have never looked up and seen the stars. I mean, I know you're in Arizona. Sometimes you look up and you see all these incredible constellations, but these kids never get to see that. Another thing about the camp is it's a working farm. So they're actually growing their own food. So it's truly like farm to table, and they get to experience it. We have a great video on our website that does a great job of kind of just showing the joy that these kids have. A long answer to your question, but we really, it's a free summer camp that people would never be able to get to do.
Yeah. I want to go back because I know I was very fortunate in growing up, at the time it seemed kind of awkward because I'd go to the farm and I'd work. All my uncles and my family had farms, and I'd go milk the cows and haul hay and all of these things and herd sheep and all of these things as a kid. And then on my other side of the family was contractors and construction. So I was always getting drug out of bed on Saturday morning to go to a job site and work on something else. And all of these experiences become the fabric of who we are. And what you're doing with these children and these kids, giving them an experience that otherwise they would potentially never have, has to be life-changing event for a lot of these kids. And so are there any stories or any examples you can share that where a child has just been opened up and just imagined new possibilities and changed their lives as a result of being involved in the camp?
Absolutely. A couple come to mind that, you talked about farm animals. I live in New York City, and so do all these kids in the 5 boroughs. How many of them have milked a cow or really seen a chicken and really understood that? Two of the kids that have gone to camp have gone on to go to veterinary school because they've been so moved by the impact of working with animals and seeing them as more than just an animal. That really touches me just because of my preferences, how I happen to eat and how I look at food and the whole food system and just a cleaner living. This is not meant to say, oh, I'm vegetarian or I'm vegan, but I'm very aware of the food chain and the impact of it and through that education. So that was really, when I heard that really touched me on a more personal level. And just seeing kids going that didn't think that they could go to college or didn't think that was a possibility, because through the program also there's a potential for scholarships for college. So seeing that, and not to say that college, everybody needs to go to college or they should, but if that's the path that people want to go on, we're here to support it, But I personally think it's great. I've met some incredible friends along the journey, and if it wasn't for that network of college, I wouldn't have done half of the jobs I did.
Yeah. I know that every experience that we have and everything that we can expose ourselves to in a variety of different ways, it's really important for people to have an experience that can change their life. And I know for myself, I remember my grandmother, she went to New York, and she was in New York, and she was, I think, teaching a Sunday school class somewhere. And she was asking kids about where milk comes from. And a lot of the kids they say the grocery store, it comes from the grocery store. They had no connection between, like you were saying, the chain of custody that it takes to create and produce the food that we eat and the things we put on our table. And I think it's important for people to understand that it does take a lot of time and effort and energy, just like anything else in life. And I know that for yourself, you've had many adventures and you've gone through different iterations of work and career and things like that. And so doing this, you kind of found a home and you're satisfied and fulfilled in helping these kids and watching them grow and develop. So what was your journey to get to this place? I mean, give us a little bit of a snapshot of Terence's, migration through the maze.
This maze called life.
Yeah.
All right, everybody, pull up a seat. I'll try to slow it down, but I get so excited because the New Yorker in me is a million miles a minute. I was born in New York. I'm
So
truly,
you're a true New Yorker.
I'm a true New Yorker. Yeah. I probably lived 10 blocks away from the hospital I was born in, which is now a condominium. So if I bought an apartment in that hospital, which is a condo, and I die there, my life truly goes nowhere. I'm kidding, obviously, but
bookends to this,
yes, exactly.
this great story, right?
So I was born there. Parents got divorced at an early age. Moved to California, so I've seen both coasts. LA, New York, and in LA is where I really got to experience a lot of outdoors, camping, going to Catalina Island, and I really enjoyed. From being a Boy Scout, and then throughout life, I kind of weaved my way through. My first job was at one of those big box stores. I know you had a guest on recently that talked about it. And my first day consisted of pushing shopping carts for 8 hours outside. And I think that was really...
That wasn't your true love?
It wasn't my true love, but it was the foundation of what it takes to really do hard work. For 8 hours, you're pushing shopping carts. I return the shopping cart all the time now because I was like, I'll never, but it reminds you the importance of those little things. And then from there, ultimately I ended up back in New York. I graduated from NYU with an accounting finance degree. And that's where I really thought my life was going to be, crunching numbers. And every day I would fly on a Monday up to Syracuse and then fly back on a Friday doing this huge audit. And I said, what am I doing? In a basement. I love the outdoors. I love interacting with people, and I'm literally interacting with nobody.
And you're not outdoors.
Exactly. And then one of my good friends from college told me about an opportunity on Wall Street. And I said, absolutely, this is it. I went down there, people yelling and screaming, and this was it. This was,
lots of energy.
Yeah, lots of energy, lots of passion. And September 11th hit. And I was there when it hit. It really sent me to a dark place. And for 5 years, I would walk under the towers. And the reason why I tell this, I was so close, and so it sent me to a dark place. It turned my world around. And I said, I'm from here on out. And there was one of my favorite quotes. I love quotes, but it's from Ben and Jerry's. I always liked Ben and Jerry's. And one of his quotes is, I don't know if it was Ben or Jerry, if it's not fun, why are you doing it?
Yeah. That's a great life lesson, right in a very simple sentence.
Mm-hmm. If it's not fun, why doing it? And it wasn't fun. So I realized then that I'm only going to do the things that are fun. I'll give a little bit. While I was, I got a dark place. I started gambling really big, well beyond my means. Mm-hmm. I ended up losing it all. And then right after September 11th, I checked, 2002, I checked myself in a gambling rehab facility. And while I was there, somebody called me up and said, we're in. I said, I'm not sure where we're in, but I'm in rehab. Where are we? He said, we both got in the New York City Marathon. So I started training. It was something I always wanted to do.
Oh, wow.
And, being outside, running, meeting people, talking.
Yeah.
And I ran the New York City Marathon 19 consecutive years. This would be my 20th consecutive. And while I was running, all of these opportunities and possibilities opened up. I started working in real estate where I was interacting with people. I was showing them properties, I don't know if it was selling, but definitely showing them. And then I started working in the coaching running space. And from there, I got another job in the nonprofit space. I became a Lululemon, the clothing company ambassador, which opened more doors. And then, during that nonprofit, I realized that that's it. My life is service before self, and I will continue to give with my whole heart and every fiber of my being to anybody that wants to know about nonprofits making a difference. And that's what brought me here. And kids, I mean, they're kids today, but they're tomorrow's leaders. They are those change makers, and how we can mold them. What we can show, what we can teach, and what we can learn from them.
Yeah.
Is mind-blowing.
And the reason I wanted to bring this up and have you kind of give this snapshot is because, this show goes out and we never know where it's going to land. Mm-hmm. We never know who it's going to touch in the world of life. And the reality is that we have to explore and we have to experience some things before we understand what we like and what brings us joy and what we fail to really expand our lives in. in all of these adventures, there's a common theme and a common thread. It's if you're not having fun, why are you doing it? And the other piece of the puzzle is sometimes we have to do things we don't necessarily enjoy doing, and we just have to have gratitude for the fact that we can do it.
Yes.
And I think there's a common thread that you and I share is the gratitude around it, and the idea that we have an opportunity to really expand that gratitude to others, and service is a great way to do that. So thank you for your service, and thank you for helping these kids out in such a noble process and a goal. And so now you realize in your life, you're going, okay, I've been running for 20 years and I'm in a nonprofit now. And so what's taken place with the camp, and what's going to be developing, and how do people help, and how do we support these kind of initiatives, and how can you see it growing in the future?
Great question. The big thing is it's a camp in the Catskills. We're limited right now by the bunk size. We are going to build another bunk. I also want to make sure that the bunk is winterized so we can maybe do programming year round. It gets cold up there.
Yeah. It's a beautiful country.
It really is. It's right up there by kind of that Woodstock area, the Catskills, Livingston Manor. It's really beautiful. It's on 100 acres. It actually used to be, ironically, an old kind of running or speed walking camp, but that never took off. So hopefully I will bring my passion for running and outdoors to older people that want to go to the camp and maybe experience camp, and I'll bring some really great programming. How people can help out is, I look at it as three ways. Anybody listening, if they know of a grant or a foundation that helps inner city kids, that talks about food education, connect with me. Obviously, if you live in the area of New York, we are a camp with a kitchen. We are going to need dishwasher, some things. So if people have things that they might want to donate, reach out to me. And of course, all nonprofits do need money to run. So sure. I don't take donations. We do take donations. I don't take it lightly. So if people have time that they either want to join a board, they want to give, I think time is the most valuable thing. So some people prefer to give money, but reach out to me. I mean, I would love to, anybody who wants to get involved, I always just want to have a conversation with them and see if it works. And if it doesn't, I can say, hey, not right now, because we've got to grow the camp. There's certain things that we need to do. And I have a clear vision on what that is, which is build another bunk, update some of the main lodge, do some of the things in the camp to get kids excited to go there, because we haven't had camp in 2 years now because of, nobody's done anything really in the last year, right, but due to the pandemic. So we're excited for summer camp in the fall, in the summer this year, 2021.
That would be phenomenal. And I know that there's a lot of kids that are out there, and I just want to give a shout out to some of the people that are in the room here.
Please. I love the pirates.
They've had nice change to get in touch with Mother Nature. Absolutely, positively. Hyatt Ives in from Houston says, fantastic outreach for and to sheltered youth. Hyatt, I love that. And we fail to appreciate what so many don't know. That is such a huge shift in thought process. Because we don't know. And like I said, when you're not really attached, or you're not associating your food with your environment and everything that goes into it and the whole entire process, farm to table, it's really a different perspective on what's taking place. And Angie says, I would love to connect. I love this vision.
Oh, thank you.
Angie's an awesome individual that everyone should know. And she's awesome. She's epic. And Tracy says, I want to go to this camp.
All right, Tracy, come on. Yeah, it's all right. Is Tracy in Arizona? It's going to be,
no, Tracy's in, where is Tracy? Wisconsin?
Okay. All right, Tracy, come on out.
I raised my family, my two boys, on 30 acres out on the
Oh,
peninsula next to the Olympic Forest. I mean, we had horses, we had cows, we had chickens, we had animals, and we would go horseback riding or mountain biking in the national park and all around. I taught him to ski in the only ski resort in the national park, Hurricane Ridge. And there's
cool.
just so many episodes in their life. And, you know, it's really important for people to understand that we have these connections. We have this ability and opportunity to make the connections to other people doing other things. And I really encourage high school students, you know, when they're trying to explore, like you said, you know, some go off to college and have an idea that that's important. And other people, you know, there's a big push right now for the trades because there's a lot of people moving out of the trades. There's, you know, and there's still, you know, plumbers, carpenters, you know, electricians, all of these. It's a valuable skill to have, and that's another area that's important to understand. And what you may grow up with may not be what you end up being when you grow up or when you become an adult. And I mean, I've had more careers than most people, and it's just, to me, I just love learning. I love the process of learning, and I've always gone back to helping. I love helping other people. So the servant leadership
That's what you're doing now. That's what I mean, you're helping me right now. I mean, how many people are getting to hear about Steve's Camp through your platform? I mean, this is huge.
Yeah.
You know,
and it's an opportunity. And I just want to share that because you're helping kids see that perspective, see that broader picture, see that idea that we can actually encourage kids and young adults to actually get involved and engaged in. And you mentioned Boy Scouts. The first time I went to camp, I actually had a backpack and I carried a frying pan on a 5-mile hike just because I wasn't sure what I needed when I got to camp. It's like, I think back on that and it's like, wow. That's crazy.
And I'm sure your frying pan was not as light as they are now. I mean, things have definitely evolved.
No, it was an actual frying pan.
Actually, yeah. So you're definitely carrying a little more. Yeah, exactly.
So what's the next adventure? You got the camp. You're potentially going to, you know, maybe do some running camp exercises there. How do people connect and how do people get a hold of you and learn more about this and get involved and engaged with the camp?
The great thing about your platform is everybody sees the Steve's Camp, the website, you know, stevescamp.org. You know, you can reach out there. I love connecting the old-fashioned way, ultimately, hopefully face-to-face when this pandemic, the global pandemic has been lifted, when we can again and it's safe. Call me. I love people to call me, to text me. I want to hear a voice. I want to connect. That is the one thing that has been the hardest for me over this time. Hugging another human being and just really looking in someone's eyes and hearing that story, hearing about their journey, the highs and the lows, because those lows help build us. I mean, and really form us. That's those lows or those losses that I've had in my life, or we've all had, really direct us. So call me. My cell phone number, and I'll give it right now, is 917-376-3376. It sounds like I'm repeating myself, but it's I love the number 3, and back in the day you could pick it. So it's 917-376-3376. So just give me a call, text me, and we'll have a conversation about what I'm up to, what the camp is going to be doing, what, you know, summer looks like, what next year looks like, and beyond.
Yeah. So you mentioned New York, and it's starting to come back alive, and I know that you know, the next year is going to be an adventure as well. And so what do you see locally there, and how can we work through this final phase of the pandemic, and what do you anticipate in the next year for yourself?
for myself is, I'm personally getting vaccinated. I've got the first vaccination because I'm in that group of working with children. I'll get the second one. I'll get travel's opening up. I mean, my family's growing. My wife and I we're blessed that we're going to be adopting a baby girl in the coming literally weeks. So our family's growing, and we're really excited about that.
Congratulations.
Thank you. It really is. That's a whole episode in itself, just how the process and that changed. I see people traveling. I see people wanting to connect. I see people attending galas or fundraisers, and people going to those, golf outings. You perform, you play instruments. People are going to want to see that in person. When this whole pandemic started, there were so many people playing online or on TV. I said, I don't want to watch it. I'll watch it for a couple months, but this is not how I'm going to view shows. I love the energy of real life, seeing it. So the great thing is I run a lot. So I get to run through the streets of New York, and I'm noticing that Times Square is crowded. Central Park is crowded, or getting more crowded again. You're just seeing more people out there. We're all looking at, the numbers, and if you're getting vaccinated and you're taking care of yourself and you're being careful. And when I run, I run with a mask on because I want to be respectful. I'm wearing something over my mask. I'm not running 5-minute miles and trying to buzz through the streets. I'm running to enjoy it. I'm running to take it in. It's my form of meditation. It's my form of just looking at the world and seeing the colors, the shapes, everything that the city has to offer, the smells.
And I love New York. I mean, I years ago when I was working for an organization, I used to go there on a regular basis, and in the advertising world, and being out in the streets and experiencing different people, have conversations, and I've been very fortunate to go to different cities and experience a lot of different environments, and it's really fascinating to me to see how this impact in our history will change a lot of the way that we think about life. And I know a lot of people have sat back and reflecting on what's important in their life. You're starting a family, you have running involved, a lot of activities, and serving the kids and the families in New York. And there's so many opportunities out there that we haven't even explored yet. So thanks for helping these kids see a different light and a different outcome than what they might be exposed to. Appreciate it. So any parting words that you want to share? Any words of wisdom that legacy thoughts that will live on, Terence?
I think the biggest is, really where I was drawn to your show, and when I'm very specific about, whether podcasts or what I'm doing to send a message, but your vibe is just spot on. I love it and I appreciate it, and you're one of the people I take on my runs with me. I listen to it. I'm a New Yorker, so I listen to it at 1.5 speed. So 1, I can get through more content, and 2, it keeps me fired up during the run. But kindness is really cool, and smiles are free, and that's an important thing, because when I was running once, somebody's like, "Why don't you smile?" And I was like, "That's right, I need to keep smiling." But the big thing was the gratitude practice. My wife and I, she wrote a blog about it on Mind Body Wise, and I'll send you the link too. But every night before we go to bed, we practice gratitude, and it's 5 things that we're at least 3 things we're grateful for today. Then we ask ourselves, what was our magic moment? And right now, being on your show is my magic moment for the day. We'll see if that holds up. Every day, and then we say every day, I fell in love with you, and today I fell in love with, I love you every day, and I fell in love with you again today. And what she did that really just made me love her more, because it's so easy. And by the way, when this whole practice, no technology, everything is off. We're just kind of connecting, looking at each other, holding hands. And also today I learned X and what we learned, and then what we're creating for tomorrow. So we go to bed with kind of a nice vibe. But hearing your gratitude and how you do practice gratitude every morning was just, I was like, that's it. I've got to be on this guy's show. He's the real deal. So surround yourself with people like you that are just the real deal. That's
Yeah.
my words of wisdom.
That's an amazing and accurate depiction of way that so many of us can improve our lives is wake up with gratitude, love the ones you're with, and make
Mhm.
sure that the people around you bring you joy and happiness and lift you up. And, shine the light on other people, allow other people to, be seen, be heard, and be talked about, because that's what it's all about, is how can we help other people do great work? And so thank you so much, Terence, for doing great work and being here with us today.
My pleasure. Thank you for having me as a guest. And like you always sign off, I'm going to go enjoy my day. Are you going to enjoy yours?
And as you know, Terence,
Yes,
we do this because kindness is cool.
it is.
Smiles are free. And you enjoy your day.
Oh, thank you so
Take
much.
care, my friend.
Yes. Bye-bye.
Be well. Thank you for joining the Pirate Broadcast. If you found this content valuable, please like, comment, and share it across your social media channels. I would love the opportunity to help others grow in their business. The Pirate Syndicate is a platform where you show up, we produce the show. It's that easy. If you want to be seen, be heard, and be talked about, join the Pirate Syndicate today.